Okay, I'm just going to give it a minute or two so some people can come on live so we can start hopefully sharing this video. Okay. Well, this is the first time for me doing a live stream, so bear with me. Guys, see some people popping up there. I'm just going to give it like a minute before I start. I want people to hear the full story here. Okay. Just give it a few seconds. Thank you for the people that's live online. I promise you it's going to be an interesting discussion, so I hope people can share this wide as possible. My intentions are good, actually, but I do have to get this information out. Okay, people are coming online. Thank you for this. Okay, I'm just going to start quickly and go through a short. I'm going to get to the facts now. The information I'm going to share is all factual. It's all on record. It's available. So I put myself out here, and I say I hope people will share this video so others can see it as well. Everything I state here is fact. It's on record, and people can take me to court for this. I will state the same things, and they can hear it in the factual recordings that I have available. I'm just going to start off on a quick 2 minutes just to explain where I come from. I'm just a South African citizen, like every other one of you. I am not into politics. I am not a politician at all. And I'm apolitical. I've been bumping heads with a lot of politicians in my own community here since the start of COVID. And trying to get local economy created, trying to get people jobs and assistance. And to date, sorry for that. To date, they've been pouncing on me and giving me a lot of grief for that. They've banned me from all the local groups and whatsoever, which is okay. I did say on my last few posts that I will not stop. I will continue, and I will go as far as I have to reveal and expose them, which I am doing. Okay, so the information I have is it comes a long way. It comes a long way, and it involves very, very big people, politicians, presidents, ex-presidents, ministers, chief justice. Like I said in my preview, I started debating with politicians about 2 years ago. Since COVID, I picked it up a bit, and I crossed lines with a man called Neil de Beer. Okay, so he knows about me as I did release a live video on an Australian channel, a few snippets of the information, on-hand information in his own voice recording was revealed as well. They did contact me afterwards again. They were very angry with me for releasing this information publicly, and because it's sensitive and it does affect every South African. Okay, so just to start on that story of how this cabal and the government and everything works together, how they are intertwined and decide where our country is going and what political system is implemented. Started with this discussion, and Neil revealed a lot of stuff to me. I've actually publicly challenged him on Facebook that because according to him, he's going to become our president in 2024. And it's highly likely, and I will explain why just now. So he revealed that he was a Mkhonto we Sizwe spy before 1994. Okay, so first question I have is, how did Neil de Beer, the grandson of the De Beers family, and he's still running their family, he's still the chairman of Debcor today, like he revealed, how did he get into Mkhonto we Sizwe pre-94? He was one of the rich families that obviously had lots of National Party support in the apartheid regime as well. They all made lots of money then, and they're still making money now during with this new government. They implemented and helped implement. So immediately after 94, Neil de Beer, he was in the military, then he went to the security police, old South African regime. Then he went over to Mkhonto we Sizwe, where he became a top spy. There's a book out about him, the Mandela Spies. There's a couple of them. And then he, directly under Jacob Zuma, by the way. Then he joined Thabo Mbeki as an economic advisor. And he started rolling out the NEPAD economic policy throughout Africa, actually. SADC, South Africa, and then SADC, and then Africa. So this is direct involvement from the top business families directly in the ANC enclaves pre-94, actually, and then going forward. He continued being economic advisor for many presidents, as he claimed himself, and then went on to implement the central banks throughout Africa, the African Monetary Fund in Africa, and he also started an investment fund. According to sources, it's based in Mauritius, that invests in African infrastructure like harbors, rail and power stations. So they've got it covered from all sides. Then Neil revealed that 9 powerful business families are basically connected, and they came together to change this country. That include under a guy called, many of you probably haven't heard some of these names before, under a guy called Michael Louis, which is a powerful banker. He owns banks in Europe, and he owns is a big landowner as well. And so you mentioned the Ruperts as well, and Graham Power, and all of these 9 powerful business families. Then he went further to reveal very, very serious information that to me is quite a shock. Many white South Africans will find this as history, as maybe part of history, but many black South Africans will find this highly significant, because it concerns the killing of Chris Hani in 1993. And obviously that information was shared to South Africa that it was the right wing that killed Chris Hani. And it's been used ever since to divide South Africa racially. Every big ANC and EFF march and they call Chris Hani, the name of Chris Hani. But then I asked Neil bluntly, who killed Chris Hani? Because I believe it was not the right-wing people, or the white people for that matter. And so Neil said immediately, no, it was not. Only 18 people alive at the time knew who killed Chris Hani. So that immediately tells us that it was not the right wing or the white people as claimed. But then he went further to say, I said in the recording, in the discussion, I said, I heard in previous SACP and South African Communist Party functions that they were singing Zuma Tell Us Who Really Killed Chris Hani. So he went ahead and said, okay, 18 people alive knew. Zuma definitely knows, because he was head of Mkhonto we Sizwe intelligence at the time, and Neil de Beer worked directly under Jacob Zuma. And he then claimed that he also knows who killed Chris Hani. And that information I want to come out in South Africa, because I need the black people to know that information as well. It was not the white people or the right wing. Maybe they are the ones, Clive Derby-Lewis and Janus Wallus were the ones that pulled the trigger, but they were not the one that called the shots to kill Chris Hani. And I believe Chris Hani was in the way. If you look at his public statements and information about him, he was very critical of the ANC at the time. meeting with, another thing he revealed very clearly is Mr. De Beer refers to Evie de Klerk and Rolf Meyer and these people as traitors. They betrayed South Africa because before they negotiated for South Africa, they negotiated indemnity for themselves, and there was agreements come to between themselves and the ANC. And Chris Hani was very critical of this. And he mentioned publicly, if the ANC struggle heroes, or the people that struggled, ends up driving Mercedes-Benzes and live in palaces, then the entire struggle will be lost, which basically it is. So this is also why Jacob Zuma comes out every now and then. I believe he was caught with his hand too deep in the cookie jar. And now he sits with this tool and some of these secrets, and he's threatening the ANC. If he goes down, obviously he's got nothing to lose. Then he will make this public and he will bring a lot of people down with him. So then Neil de Beer went on to explain how they run the economies, physically run the economies of Africa, not just South Africa, Africa, through the investment, what can I say, funds and whatsoever. And then he went further to say how they are going to change the political system in South Africa. They are currently in the motion of changing the political system in South Africa to a system that is currently being rolled out globally. Okay, so, and he went on to explain how the system will work, because at the time Neil de Beer thought I would probably join his UIM movement, which is also very highly connected with some of the other new movements popping up in South Africa. I have confirmed that. To me, it's a color sports. Politics has become a color sports. It was blue and red and black, yellow and white. And now it's orange and green and all these new parties. But people should really look at these facts. A lot of the politicians, the clean politicians in the parties that existed up to now, are starting and forming these new parties. I know for a fact Masawa Lakota is involved. He was the first one. Michael Louis, the guy that I explained just now, he was the one that drew up this new legislation for independent presidential candidates, the direct election that was passed by our constitutional court. The full bench passed it, and it's now in front of government. They also said it was openly accepted by our government. And people should ask, why would the ANC openly accept this new policy? And I can explain this, because this is very much orchestrated, people. Since we had this discussion in October 2020, that's when we had it. I sat with it till now. I did share snippets. And but I was very much concerned for myself and my own safety and people around me. But I have obviously set up some insurance to make sure that if this information does not come out, and if anything happens to me or anybody around me, that this information will come out either way. So I took a lot of this information. It's an hour and a half recording that we had a debate, and we really revealed a lot. I will share this. I will share this recording as well. And like I said, I will state this in a court. I did send this information to the Zondo Commission, which I personally believe state capture took place in 1994. It took place when the De Beer family had their grandson in the top enclaves of the ANC already. And so this all is connected. You must listen carefully, please. This is all connected. I've emailed our government many times. I have warned them. I have warned them about this, and I've emailed Julius Malema many times. I must admit, the only person that in our government that had a concern for our country and for its people was Prince Buthelezi from the Zulu Nation. I only afterwards actually found out that he's the Prime Minister of the Zulu Nation, but he was very concerned because I've put forward issues of the food price that doubled globally, and how that's going to affect South Africa and Africa, our neighbors and everyone. I've put all these issues forward to them, and he was the only one that responded positively. The rest of these politicians, I can assure you, they are all in it for their own gain. And I've got a lot of facts to prove this. I will just ask South Africans this basic question. Have you ever seen one of our ministers or one of our senior politicians fired or taken to book or jailed for corruption, for collusion? And I personally say this publicly. Every single politician in our parliament is either in cahoots, is either guilty or is complicit to what is going on here, because they can use our constitution, they can use our rule of law to stop this, but they don't. Why would they not? Why would they not do this? Neil de Beer shared the information, for instance, Musi Maimane. We all know he was the leader of the DA. He stepped down from the DA. Suddenly, Ellen Zille came back, and these old DA people came back that made it much, very much a white party, like almost the NP government party in the past. And they came back, and I knew straight away this is going to destroy the DA, or at least reduce the DA. So Mr. Neil de Beer went into detail and explained the system that's coming in, basically what they require. They need the ANC to drop below 50%. And we can all see since then, I can personally see since then, how the ANC is physically self-imploding. Because they need them to drop below 50%, and they need the DA to drop as well. That's why the DA is also self-imploding. So they can bring this new coalition government that they have already planned out to the T. And they need basically 6 million votes to be to have the swing vote, and then take control through that means. This is all stated on record. So I took all this information, I shared it with Chief Justice Zondo. Actually, just the day before he requested to be extended, I was hoping it had something to do with it. But then they requested me to fill in an affidavit and share it and break it down to specific laws, exactly what law was broken. And I personally felt that was, I see myself in this situation as a whistleblower with lots of information that is critical to South Africa. Then they come with this, I have to break this all down and put laws to it and whatsoever exactly. It's very basic to see what laws were broken. I mean, looking at Mr. Chris Hani, what happened there, that's murder and that's collusion at the top level in our country. And I can't do that. I can't do that. I tried to reach out to constitutional lawyers in the region as well, top lawyers in South Africa, and they just basically ignored it. I sent some of the information to some of our newspapers, and just to get, especially some of the ones like Daily Maverick and those guys, to get a response, and nothing whatsoever. So then obviously I looked at Mr. Rupert and his role in this. I looked at the fact that all the mainstream media published that Rupert threatened to stop funding to the ANC and requested that they start acting and arresting people on corruption. This was public in mainstream news. So I doubt that is fake news. If it is fake news, then we have a serious crisis with our news media in this country. Because it's also owned. It's definitely owned. I mean, I just look at Mr. Rupert. He's highly involved in e-news as well. He's got a big stake there. He's actually got a big stake in South Africa, the whole country, the food supply, the minerals, the whole country. And how these guys collude and operate, it really gets to me. And I believe South Africans should stand up to this. If these guys implement the system they have planned, and it's all very deceptive. It's really all very deceptive. The chaos that ensues currently on the go and ensues in our country are all orchestrated. And we will come to a point that whatever system they put forward, which they planned, we will accept with open arms. And by that time, we will basically have no means to fight it. We will have no means to fight it. So the only time to fight this is now. So why I said this goes for every South African in the country is I think we should start looking at this logically. 1994, people started looking at working together and taking this country forward because we're logical people. We're 60 million people in this country. 40 million is not going to go. 5 million, 4.5 million has got to go, not going to go and go anywhere. or go down. So we needed to find solutions, and South Africans were never given that opportunity to find solutions. All these things that's brought in front of us, listen to Julius Malema with this land issue. All this time, this land issue. And now this last few times on his public podium, he clearly states that all land will be owned by the state. Now my question is, who owns the state? They will physically own the land. They will physically own the food supply in this country. At the moment, I can promise South Africans, they own the politics, all sides of the politics. It gives us option to choose whatever they put forward there. If it's ANC, if it's DA, it's all controlled by the same people. So what I will request with this information, like I said, any single one of you can test me on facts. I can share, if you request, I can share the audio to you. I was contacted back after I shared snippets. I was threatened, my life was threatened. I was told I was going to get killed and I was going to get hurt and all of these things. And so I did touch some nerves. I know for a fact I was told I touched some nerves, not just in South Africa, but outside as well, with what I shared. And so I will get this information out publicly. And I want it to be tested. I want these people, these same people that's been involved since apartheid, they made money out of this country and they're still making money. And now they're going to take over control in this country. I can assure you guys that guy is pretty confident in everything that he says, everything that is planned, that he will become the president in 2024. And people will accept that. And because of his struggle credentials, the fact that he was in ANC Mkhonto weSizwe, he will be accepted from that side. And because he's got this new he's turned out over this new leaf, and he's walking around with God left, right, and center on his lips, that all the white South Africans will also accept that, which I see them do a lot. He's got a lot of followers, and it's growing, especially Afrikaans people and white people that are concerned for our country and where this is going. So that is basically the message that I have. I say this very clearly, like I said. Let me just check, put a couple of things down here, if I missed anything. I will make that audios public. There's both of them, the one that I shared and also the response after I shared that was very angry. And actually it revealed some more information of who these people are. Okay. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to keep on pushing forward with this. I will get this in front of Zondo Commission. I will get them to look into this, because getting all technicalities and technicalities to basically shun this, it's not going to stop me. I promised our government I will leave no stone unturned to bring peace to this country, to stop the murders, to stop all the hatred and racism, blatant racism. And nobody else is fueling this except for politicians. Listen, it comes from our government, from our politicians, from their podiums. It's blatant racism over and over and over. And I warn South Africans today, if this is not stopped, if we don't do something, all races and all cultures, if we don't do something to stop this, it's going to end up in chaos in this country soon. And that will be bad for every single one of us. And it will not stop in South Africa. It will go to our neighbors as well, and food security will become the biggest issue. So if there has to be a conflict, warning Julius Malema as well, if there has to be a conflict in this country, it will not stop in this country. It might kill many white people, and it might kill many black people. But the biggest problem comes after that, with the starvation and the famine that is coming. And that I can assure you, that's fact. People need to go and look at this. Look at the food prices that are doubling, and now they're starting to increase even further. And I'm talking about grain. I'm talking about corn, maize. I'm talking about grain, global prices, not South African prices. So I'm very concerned about this, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep on driving this, and I'm going to keep on sharing the information publicly. And I want black people, colored people, Indian and white people to see this information, because I can assure you my intentions are to stop this racism and this divide that is orchestrated, that is planned. Because the more we fight each other, we can't see what they are doing and busy implementing in this country. We all see the laws changing. There's laws now. You cannot even say you can even share your opinion publicly anymore. Then you can be taken to court. Now, I requested, because they threatened to take me to court after my initial video release. They threatened to take me to court, and I said, please do, because that will give me a platform to share all this information publicly. Because I need to share this information. I've got it from the horse's mouth. It's not me saying it. I've asked maybe 3-4 questions in an hour and a half's recorded phone call. And everything makes total sense, people. I promise you that. And I want the rich white people in this country, with their control, must come and explain to South Africans what they are doing to this country. Because they're the only ones gaining. Them and the political cabal, the political connections in this country. President Cyril Ramaphosa, in the emails I've asked him, I've actually did mention dishonorable members in my email, and asked them, what are their intentions? Cyril Ramaphosa became a billionaire in this country out of black people suffering. There's no other explanation for that. BEE contracts on the board of major companies, director of major companies. He was involved in Marikana at the time. He was on the board of directors at the time when Marikana went down. And nothing that just gets swept under the carpet. And white South Africans gets blamed for everything. I'm proud to be a white South African. I am proud to be a white South African because I want to see this country going forward for everyone, for every single one of us. Because there's no other option. The only other option available, people, is conflict in the end. The way these people are going on and what they've got planned for this country. We will own nothing soon. We will really own nothing soon. They are taking total control of us. Okay, I hope this reaches a lot of people. If there's anything that you require, if there's any questions, please pop some questions. I don't want to keep this too long because I hope people will share it. And like I said, this information will come out in public one way or the other. It's with or without me. Let me be honest. With or without me, it will become public. Okay. So I hope to talk soon. I will be sharing some more information. What I'll do is I'll break down the call, the audio call. It's very long, like I said, more than 90 minutes. So I'll break down the specific sections that are important, and I will release it one by one. I'll make it public so people can share it and hear with their own ears and see with their own eyes what is going on here. Okay, the fact that Chris Hani was murdered by politicians, and I strongly believe it was not just the ANC involved. At the time, elder people will remember what transpired there. So please stay. I've got tons and tons of friend requests from hundreds of people already. I cannot accept all, obviously, but I will share this information and I'll keep on making it public from today onwards. I thank you for your time, and I trust this goes the right way because it's really, honestly, intended to help save our country and not to destroy it any further. Thank you.